I have wanted to do this one for so long, I don't know what took me so long, but here we are, Third Eye Blind, the background for Retro Lover 1984, John Browning, it said in parentheses, the one I know. Hi John, how's it going? Been a long time. And Mr. Almond Joy, and of course, for you. Like the nice guy I am, I made you a tab and you should go get it. It is on my website for free, no strings attached. You don't even have to give me your email address or the keys to your granny's bungalow. RyanLent.com/show notes, but the title is in super secret backwards code, so no ne'er-do-wells can horn in on our super secret information. The opposite of the background, someone who's never in the background, would be a starting pitcher. Yes, I'm talking about the 1989 St. Louis Cardinals great. You're looking for Dan Quisenberry. Unfortunately, I have to be the bringer of bad news here and tell you that there's no way to play this song for real unless you're in open D tuning. Now here's a trick for remembering the notes of open D tuning. Open anything tuning is the notes that make up whatever that chord is. So we can look at our D chord and we can see that we have an open D string, so that's D. And then we have G string second fret, so G, G sharp, A, D and A. B string third fret is another D, B, C, C sharp, D, and the E string second fret from our D chord is E, F, F sharp. So we've got D, A, another D, and F sharp. Those are the notes we're going for. Our E string is going to go down 2 notes to D. A string's okay, right? So is the D string. The G string, on the other hand, is going to go down 1 note only to F sharp. B is going to go down 2 notes to A. And your E string, just like the other E string, is going down 2 notes to D. And now when you strum your whole guitar, you've got a big, beautiful, wonderful open D chord. Now I know the intro is bass, but I've tabbed it out as well as we can do it on the guitar. I had to take a couple of things out, and there's a couple of little hairy spots. You might want to just exclude some notes. But I did my best, and I think it's pretty good. I'm going to call the strings what they're normally called so we don't have to do the mental acrobatics of translating string names. Here we go. Open E and D4, A5, open E, A 4 to 5 hammer on, open E, D string, 4, and just kind of slide off into the nothingness. Here we go. That's the first little bit. Second half of the first line, here's our big stretch here, so you can exclude any of the notes that you care to. A2, E5, D5, E5 again, D 4 to 5, E5, A2. And here's that whole first line together. I love the second line. D4, open E, D, 2 to open pull off, open E, A 2 to open pull off, open E, E7, slide down to the nothingness, grab the A string second fret, E5, and then A, open 2 hammer on. Line 3 is the same as line 1, and line 4 isn't that interesting, so I just do the second line again if you're going to do all 4 times. And now it's what you've all been waiting for. It's the guitar intro. Here we go. Open 4, open on the E string. B4, open E, open B. That's D, just all the strings open. So, D, and then open 4, open 4, open E. The 5th fret is G. Now you can, if you want, go across all the strings, but I love the sound of the open G, B, and E strings. So if you can deftly kind of just cover that, you could use 3 fingers if you want to do it that way, but just the D, A, and D strings, you get with that awesome openness. Because then that E string that was just ringing out is still ringing out. And in truth, the guitar isn't playing those chords in the very beginning. The bass is taking care of all the beefiness. But I'm here by myself, so I don't have any more beefiness to offer. So I'm hitting the chords. The verse is just D, everything is quiet, and G. However, there's some fancy things that happen, more so as the song progresses, but almost every time on the G chord that happens, and that's the D string going from 5 to 7, and then from 5 to 4. And when I go 5 to 4, of course, you have to abandon your G chord, and that's okay. As the song progresses, more fancy things start to happen on the D chord, and there's really no pattern or rhyme or reason, but all of those notes that we played in the bass intro are fair game. So you could... all those notes are great. You can't do it wrong. Just play any of those notes from the bass intro. Also, on the G chord, if you want, you have all these options. So you can mess around to your heart's content. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you hear it here, but after they go D, G, D, G, D, G a whole bunch of times, they play one more D, and then the inter thingy happens. That's going to be, I called it B minor because we're in the key of D, and technically we're playing a B power chord, not a B minor, but if it were a major or minor chord, it would be a minor chord. So we've got 9, 9, 9, 12, 12, 12. Be really careful not to hit the G string 9th fret. It'll sound like this. Completely wrong, right? So if you're going to, like I just did, hit the low notes first, be very careful either to mute the G string, with the hangy part of your pointer finger there, or just don't strum it before you add the high notes. Down to A, which is all of the strings pressed down on the 7th fret. That's your inter thingy. Plans I made still have you in them. Starts on A again, and it does 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Up to B minor. You can do it this way. This is not the way they do it here. They just do 9, 9, 9, open, open, open for that nice ringy, outy feel. A, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. B minor. 2, 3, 4, D, and then on the D, the B string is going to go 10, 9, and you repeat that section, B minor, D, one more time, cause I G carry you around in the background. Extra note, but that's the idea. Now, if you use your earballs, you will see that those are all the pieces, and if you used your earballs wisely, you can place all the pieces in all the places. Thank you so much for being here. That is such a pretty song. I love that song. Goodbye.